happy to announce, introduce Angela Jorczak to you all tonight. She is a photographer based in Albany, New York, who wants to preserve the things that capture her attention. And she does it with a camera in both hands, over her head, behind her back, and even while upside down. She started the Capital Region Photography Group in 2008 to share her vision of photography with others. Over the years, she has eventually helped people, me among some of them, learn what she knows and enjoys supervising and some would call teaching workshops. She has countless photography friends, and this group has become an integral part of her life. She has a great appreciation of the world around her, even beyond her photographic endeavors. Her passion for photography has brought her to the place where she is and is turning her into the person she is becoming. More than that, photography allows her to see and express what is often invisible or has gone unnoticed to others. Amen. I look at the stars, pay attention to where she looks at the stars, pays attention to where her feet are stepping, wanders with no purpose, takes deep breaths, gets distracted by anything that sparkles, and carries heavy camera gear. She loves that through photography, we can discover and offer something wonderful, magical, and new. Photography is a journey through life where we feel emotion, become awakened to self-discovery, and offers an opportunity for self-expression and spiritual awareness that is unique to each of us. Her objective is to create works of art of exceptional quality that she loves and cherishes and reminds us of how beautiful life is in times of darkness. Sean, did you have a picture?
Yes, I do. Hold
on. She wanted me to share this really cool picture with you guys that she did with incense smoke.
One of my many workshops.
So I saw a lot of jaws drop. I have to say, I found Angela before I moved here from Phoenix on the Capital Region meetup group. And the very first event I attended when I came to New York was Angela's, I believe this was the one. We went to the smoke. I shot the smoke at her workshop. I still have yet been brave enough to try something. Well, actually I've tried, but yeah, no. But I've not been successful at doing something as incredible as this. So I'm very happy to share my friend with you guys.
Somebody want to know what weed I was smoking? It's just too much inhalation of incense smoke.
That's what it was, incense. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that image, I said to Sean and John, I said, you know, maybe just share at least an image of me, because several of you know me, of course, but some of you may not. And I figured, you know, just share an image. So I'm over here, you know, judging everybody, and at least you can have a judgment of something I did. So hopefully it's positive, but you know, it's not for everybody. But yeah, that image was in Photoshop. I used 18 different smoke art images that I have from my collection of probably 2,000 smoke images, and I just went rummaging through them all, and I took 18 of them and many discards. I should have kept track of how many I tried but discarded, you know, because that isn't in the equation. But I spent, you know, 3 hours just assembling the elephant. So it was a lot of intense work and focus, but I love how it came out. I printed it as a 16 by 20 standout through White House. I don't know, I must use Miller's Lab. Maybe I used White House, but on metallic paper. So it looks really stunning. And I'm really proud of it. And I'm still working on several other animals that I'm doing out of incense smoke, but it's very time intensive. So I was sitting here one day and I said, I should do an alligator. I don't know. I probably was smoking weed that day. Or should have been.
If you want to talk a few seconds longer, I'll be right back.
It's cool how he just vanishes right into the background like that.
Yeah, he went right into the sunset.
Yep.
Oh, he actually vanishes. That doesn't go into the background. That's Sean.
So Jana, I saw you posted some pretty flower photos up.
Oh, thank you. I finally managed to get that macro to behave a little bit.
Well, there you go.
Joe.
Those are the light table shots you're talking about, Angela?
Those light table ones,
Yeah.
the ones that you put a
They're
like
amazing.
on, Joe, were my macros.
Oh, okay, good.
And you know what's super funny is those were my favorites. I thought they were beyond spectacularly gorgeous. And the ones that got all of the likes, there was only one that got all the likes, and that was the one that I cropped really tightly in, and it was just nothing but flowers. And that's the one that got all the attention on Facebook. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, they were nice. I like them.
Thank you.
Okay, so I need to go in here. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to mute Jenna. There we go. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now. Hold on 1 second. And there. Everybody see that? Angel?
I can, yes.
Okay, good. If you can, everybody can. All right, welcome to the December assigned topics competition. We have 2 assigned topics as usual. First one is masks, not necessarily COVID masks, but anything that masks, from Halloween to whatever. We have 18 images, 3 winners, and 3 honorable mentions. First up, masked shooter, Kim Koza.
Okay, so is this me critiquing now?
Yes.
Okay. So actually I really I thought I like the grunginess of this photo. It's unique. The lighting coming through helps the subject stand out, and I don't know how strong of a theme it fit in masks, but it definitely is a really nice image. Whoever took it, they have good composition in this photo. And I really like the grungy texture. It just was unique, and it was a really nice photo. The only thing I found a little bit distracting was in the back left corner, not really corner, but the back left side behind the woman crouched down is a black dark area, and I felt like my eye kept like popping over there to see like what it is. So I don't know if the person here who took that photo, but if you are listening, try going in and see if maybe if you could clone that out or even decrease the, you know, the darkness of it, and see if that helps bring your eye back and stay on the main subject of the woman. But good job with the photo. Love the grungy.
Okay, next up is A Few Max, Marguerite Hill.
Oh, yeah, this was cute. I like how you could see everybody in the picture wearing a mask, and everybody's going in different directions. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the governor over there, but Saratoga. But the pop of pink is definitely an attention grabber, so that was really a really nice shot to get that in. Again, like I said, I love that everybody's in different directions, passing by and through each other. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of white vignetting unless you have a lot more of white you know, in the image. So if it was, say, like a snowy scene, or even if it was portraiture and people were wearing, you know, a lot of pale colors and light colors, I think it would definitely fit a little bit better. I can understand why you chose to use a white a vignette However, I think maybe choosing something a little bit darker would have actually enhanced the pop of the color even a little bit more. So if you go back in and experiment with doing it with a darker color too, just for your own benefit and seeing the difference, you may agree or with me, you may not, but I think you had some really good capture here.
Next up is Stefan, Thomas Whitmore.
Oh, this is really nice. I contemplated on making this. I wish I could give everybody a placement, of course. So in my heart, you all have one. So just know that going forward. But I really think that any pictures of the firefighters really tells a story, and you captured this really nice. The composition is good. The exposure is really good. I even like the highlights and the shadows that you can see on his coat. And I think, and him wearing the mask, he's clearly, doing his job, and kudos to that.
Next up is Owl Mask, Paul O'Keefe.
Oh, very, very unique and creative. This was very cool. I hadn't seen anything really quite like this. So I really think you did a great job. I really can't say anything more than that. It was just a nice photo. The texture came out really well. It's just a really neat image.
Okay, next up is The Masked Lovers, Jana Kaywood.
This is a really cool photo, and I really like the facial expressions. The masks are beautiful. The composition's really nice. A couple points that I would make out for this artist is that her hand on the chair seems a little tight, like she's almost afraid of falling back. So I kind of got that impression that, she might not have had complete trust in the gentleman standing behind her. So maybe a little bit of a relaxed grip, and next time you tend to shoot something like this, make sure anything that bends is not too sharp of a bend, or at least has a bend. So it's not too straight and stiff. The other thing is that this image had so much going for it. The only other thing I have to say that I think I would have liked to seen not so much of her nose holes with her head tilted back so far, a little bit more of her eyes. She's really kind of right at the edge there. And it's hard as a photographer to get images like this where, you've got a woman falling and leaning back into a man's arms, but definitely make sure she's relaxed and try to bring her chin down or her forehead up a little bit so you can get a little bit more of the look in her eyes. But this is a really beautiful exposure. The highlights are nice. The black and white tone is beautiful. And I really love the background, and it really is a nice little story in front of us.
Next up is Masked Man, Kim Koza.
Oh, this was very creative. I really think this is neat. And I looked at the picture. I thought, oh, this is really cool. I really think that it's like he's just walking by and just happens to catch a glimpse of himself in this really cool mirror. And he's got his cell phone like perfectly placed in the hand. So it's definitely, tells you what's going on with how we all in this environment today have an attachment to our devices. So, but the fact that he has his mask on and, and it can get a little bit of an idea of, things that are going on in his life, as he's rushing by. And I don't know if that was like an elevator in the background or if he's just in a random hallway somewhere. But I think your placement of your subject in the mirror is really spot on. You did a really good job with that. And I thought it was a really cool photo. I love all the mirrors, all the angles and the texture and the, detail that we can pick up from all the reflective surfaces. It was really cool.
And next is Never Enough, Sharon Silversmith.
Oh, this was a really cool picture. I like that you can actually see the detail in the denim and just the pops of little colors. And even just having, you know, we all have this pretty much similar image right in our own homes right now. So I really can relate to it. And I thought it was just a cool image. And unfortunately, we all have to, you know, consider wearing masks, but it's the reality of our lives now. And I really appreciate seeing that I'm not the only person that has a similar image.
Next up is Masked for the Race, Marguerite Hill.
Oh, cool. So this was a really nice photo, and definitely where you went right with this is that you have, you can clearly see not just, you know, what your subject is, but where your subject is. So the reality of what it's like behind the scenes of you know, this type of location. You've got all the people, they're gathering, they're mingling. You know, he's clearly on a mission. He's headed somewhere, and he's got, you know, a really good placement in the image. I think having a little bit more narrow depth of field just for him to pop just a smidgen more would enhance the image, but it's not needed, of course. Maybe even just a little bit more contrast in the photo. So that could be just a difference of our image device screens, of course, but this was really cool. It was a really nice photo for you to submit. It definitely, you know, tells a big story.
Next is Someone Amazing is here, Jana Kaywood.
Oh, this is another beautiful picture, Jana. First of all, the placement of your subject and correlation to the background is really nicely done. Her pose is really nice. I like that she's just leaning slightly forward to the camera, so you have a really great view of her eye and her facial expression. She's very, you know, she's very powerful. She seems very powerful. I would have liked a little bit more of a bend in her forward arm closest to the camera, just so it would have relaxed her shoulder just a little tiny bit. It doesn't have to be anything strong. I also think that the cape, I would have liked to have seen something a little more like dramatic with it, maybe in the background and also in the forward, instead of being tucked under her a little bit, but draping down. But I think the soft muted colors are really nice. If you wanted to make it a little bit more dramatic, you can emphasize that. And but the way you provided it as it is, it was really nice. The only real negative comment I would say about this image, and it's really more of a constructive critique with that, is that her nose just seems to be a little bit bright. Obviously it's her protruding part, right? So of course we have to be mindful of that anyway, but it just seemed just a little bit brighter than the rest of her skin tone. So and when you close your eyes and then open them back up, you see what I mean? Your eyes are kind of drawn right to her nose, and it kind of, you know, will distract you just a little bit from her, you know, overall you know, vibe that she's giving in her mask, of course, with all the details. So, but it's a very beautiful image.
Okay, next up is Party Time, Joe Catronio.
What a really pretty mask this is. And I really think the colors are exquisite. I love that the sequins are, you know, the way they appeared in the photo, the way they would naturally appear looking at them. You've got them facing different directions. Some of them are catching highlights as, you know, the mask is moved around. And I really like how, you know, those few little sequins are catching highlights. The only thing I would say about this image is, on the bottom, there's a little white spot, and I don't know if that is like a sequin that fell off, or if it's just something that was there, but it's just a tiny bit pulling my eye down towards it, more than I would prefer, just because, you know, the pretty ribbon strand is kind of got that point there, and it's guiding you, you know, in a direction right to it. So it's just a tiny bit distractive for me, but I don't know if you would agree with that, but I really think you did a wonderful shot, and you captured the theme of a mask, perfectly, staged it really well.
Okay, next up is Attack, Thomas Whitmore.
Oh, yeah, this is such a really nice photo. And, it's hard for me to, because it's so focused on the firefighters. It's hard to realize if this is, it looks like they're in a parking lot. So, I can only assume what the story is. So it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. So the image itself is not really telling a full story, but it definitely gets me wondering, which is a good thing. So but the exposure is really great. I love that your water was not overexposed, because sometimes, especially when you're battling a really high contrast scene with lighting on firefighters, the dark background and all the brightness of the water, sometimes the water can get very easily overexposed. So you have a really wonderful exposure, you have a good composition, and it's telling a really great story. So and the good thing about it is I can make up whatever it is that they're putting out, if it's a drill, an exercise, or a car is on fire, which I'm assuming. But I really think you did a nice job.
Okay, next up is Some Wore Them, Rich Schreibstein.
Oh, this is such a cool photo. And I know there was a few different images that were very similar. They had like a very retro vibe, and I really thought they were all really great. And this one also. I like that, some are wearing the masks and some aren't, and you can see the woman holding it in her hand. So everybody's got a mask close by in case they needed it. The placement of, where they are is kind of telling a little bit of story. And I really like the green. It's a unique tone that you applied to the image. Everybody's waiting for, for what it is they're waiting for. So I think you really had a really nice photo to share with us. Thank you.
Okay, honorable mentions.
Oh, that was fast.
Yes, it was. First up, first honorable mention, Hall of Fame masks, Rich Schreibstein.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, again, I think that little white dot I'm seeing, disregard that. It's showing up in every image. So that must be on something on the photos. It's showing up on every photo. So whoever said that to you about the mask, it was disregard. Okay, so I thought this image was really cool. Cooperstown, and the placement, everybody's, the craziness of, being in a village, a sidewalk, all the people coming and going. You captured everybody in a really great place. Nobody's cut off. You don't got any weird body parts coming in from some angle. So your crop or composition is really, really nice. And I like the black and white tone. It's got a lot of really nice contrast. Nothing is flat here. And just, it just shows a really nice image of what was happening at the time you took it.
Okay, next honorable mention is 1890 meets 2021, Linda Thomasulu.
Yeah, this was just such a great image, just because of the contradiction between, modern time, our mask wearing, and the garb of the, event that you were photographing. And I really like, one thing I really liked with the masks were really all the same style. And black one obviously is unique to the rest of them, but I really like the image overall. I think it had, I don't know if it had an applied, texture to it or not, because it appeared like that to me when I saw it. But I thought it really kind of enhanced, it really kind of, brought you back to an older film time, and the colors were a little bit muted. So I think it's just a really beautiful image. Nobody has any weird body parts cropped out that shouldn't be there. So everything was provided and kept where it should be, which can be very difficult when shooting people walking or on a street scene when there's several people around. So I just thought this was a very nice photo, and I just thought it was just really a really nice moment to see the, you know, how in this period time, 1890 you called it, you know, the attire and the wardrobe that they're wearing is just unique. It's very, you know, obviously historical to the period and time period, and with the modern events and all the, you know, the background and the modern pops that are thrown in there and the location, it just was a really nice photo to me. It just really resonated with me, I guess I'm trying to say, stumbling around my words.
Okay, our next honorable mention is Giraffe God Mask, Sean Sullivan.
Oh, this was I really was contemplating placing this higher on the chain, but when I looked at it on my screen, the left side, as I'm looking at now, it's a little darker, which was what I was hoping it would look. When I looked at it on my computer monitor, the left side of the mask was a little brighter than it is now, but I really think having that play of half of the mask in the dark, half of it, you know, highlighted, I would have even, you know, if it was my photo, I definitely would have probably even exaggerated that just a little bit more than this. But the composition is great, the highlight and the lighting is placed very well. No doubt this took a little bit of time to play with, and you just made it art. You turned it into art. So it's really beautiful. I love the details, the texture, and I think it's just, it fits the category of tonight's theme very well, and I think it's a nice image.
Okay, next up, the winners.
Oh, yay.
In third place, Masks Do Grow on Trees, Sean Sullivan.
Again, the cluster of masks, you know, we all can relate. What I liked about this was they were all so different. You know, the masks were, you know, just you know, I love the superhero mask. I think was what got my attention, and of course the photographer evolving photographers is such a fun mask, you know, with us all loving photography. But I just thought the composition, I think the really rich color tones spoke to me, and it's just the, you know, the background hanging on the fence has a great detail, and it just resonated with me as one of those images. I just kind of really liked it, and it's real. It's really real right now. It's authentic.
In second place, Princess Mask for a Princess, Linda Thomasula.
Oh, what a cutie pie. I chose this image because I think the technicalities that you captured in this image, Linda, are really great. You know, her hair, her little fuzzy curls are, and the highlights, her eyes are nice and bright, and you can see the detail right in the color of her eyes, so they weren't dark at all, even despite the fact that, you know, she doesn't have any highlights directly, you know, on her as they are surrounding her and hitting her in other places. Of course, you know, everything about her screams her age, you know, her shirt and her Elsa princess mask. I think the depth of field and, you know, her placement, even her little shoes and her chubby hands, it was just a really, really nice, well presented photo.
And in first place, Father Thinking of His Children, Joe Catronio.
Yay, congratulations. Well, the theme was masks, and obviously this was a really stunning capture. Why it spoke to me is just I really like how there's actually almost a little bit of a highlight surrounding the mask. Whether or not that's intentional or it just happened to be, I will never know, and I don't need to know, but it's just the color tone. It's very rich. The mask is stunning. It's not a mask you will see hanging up in my house, but and I appreciated that. You know, it's not a mask you see very often unless you go to collectors or whatever. But so the mask is itself is just a piece of artwork, and you photograph that, and the rich colors really resonated with me. And of course your composition and the lighting on it is really nice. There's no, you know, bright highlights that are distracting me away, and I feel my eyes just wanting to observe and take in every detail that this mask is offering us to view. So that's why I awarded it as tonight's winner. So congratulations.
Okay, congratulations, everybody. Next up is assignment 2, which is animals. There were 32 entries, 5 places, 5 honorable mentions. First up, America, Jana Kaywood.
Oh, and you know, again, everybody did such a great job. So I commend you all. This is, I actually thought this was such a nice photo. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more sharpness in the eagle's face for my preference, but the colors are nice. I think a little bit more of the flag, like in the chest of the eagle, and the stars behind it could have made it just pop a smidgen more. I actually like and don't mind the highlight of the starburst behind the eagle, how its fur is blending kind of like right into it. I thought that was really nice. So it was just a beautiful photo. I like I said, I think a little bit more of sharpness and texture in the feathers. I think it definitely, you know, could be a standout photo.
Okay, next up is Breakfast, Robert Deere.
Oh, this photo, I stared at it for so long. And it's like an amazing photo. I mean, it's sharp, the depth of field. You could tell when you look at a photo like this, it's taken with a really nice camera, really nice lens. And it's very well captured. The reflection is beautiful. My only reason for actually not placing this up, and it's just probably a very personal one, but I felt like and trust me, I'm a huge fan of having like a mat around the image, but I feel like the added mat was just too close to the hair. Wait, this is a heron. Yeah, great blue heron. I thought it was just a little bit too close to his head. I would have liked, if you kept that, I would have liked a little bit more space above his head. And I felt like the crop on it was just a little bit too tight. So minimize that, or, you know, make it a little bit narrower. And you even didn't need it. This picture certainly didn't need it, but I mean, the picture itself is just, in all ways, it's just a stunning image, and you should be really proud to have an egret picture like this, because they're not always the easiest to come by with a nice big fish in their mouth.
Next up is Elk Resting After Outrunning a Wolf. Nancy Jones.
What a great title. So what I liked about this picture was, first of all, it's nice to see the panoramic. So you did a really nice job with your composition. I would have liked a little bit more space on the left side just to balance out some of the space that's on the right side. A lot of times we love symmetry for a reason. It's very visually appealing. It doesn't, you know, take away from this photo at all, but I think it would have just visually had a little bit more placement of space on the left side. It would have just visually appealed in general to more people a little bit better. But the placement's good of all the elk. The sky's really nice. It's it could have been a little bit sharper. I'm assuming maybe this was a cell phone shot, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just sometimes they can be a little bit tough to get the sharpness, but I'm not going to exclude that for from the beauty of the image. So the little pop of highlight and the deer right in the center is really nice, and it brings your eye right to the cluster of them. So I think you did a nice photo, and you did a great job in bringing this to our attention tonight so we can all enjoy it. Thank you.
Next up is Tortoise and Her Nest, Ronald Spear.
Oh, this was so cool. And, I found myself searching through the nest and I wanted to, really examine this because it's not something I've ever seen before. I've never seen a tortoise right at her nest like this. So I think it's you had a nice composition, maybe a little bit more space, evenly. Again, that symmetry sometimes is very appealing in general. So a little bit more space under her foot and under the nest just to balance it out like you have it on the side, the other side, the top and the right side. But the picture is very sharp, and the tortoise is doing her job, and she's got a lot of nice texture in her shell that we can really enjoy viewing, and it's just the pattern of it is really nice. And I loved seeing her tail emerging out of that nest. Is kind of a really nice shot that you got. So I hope that this is somewhere nearby where you could keep taking pictures and bringing more for us to view.
Next up is DC Dog Walkers, Linda Tomasulo.
Oh, this is a really nice photo again with the story in it. It's a hard job.
Oh, we lost you there, Angela.
The exposure is beautiful. Nothing is too bright. The placement, the storyline, it's really well captured. It's very sharp and crisp, and it has really great contrast, and the colors are very bold and beautiful. They're just like as if we're standing there right now witnessing this moment.
Next up is Happy as a Pig, Paula Keefe.
This picture made me giggle, as you just heard again. I was looking forward to seeing this image again tonight. I just think the photo is really cute. It's I love how his snout and mouth are just popping right out of the picture. So you did a really nice, there's a really nice exposure involved here. Nothing is distracting us from the main part of this cutie's face. And I think this is just a fun photo, and it's going to make a lot of people giggle and enjoy seeing.
Next up is Fairy Tale Scene, Janice Pritchett.
Yeah, this is a really beautiful fairy tale scene. First and foremost, I think the placement of, not the deer actually, but the placement of the foliage in the foreground is really beautiful. It actually helps give some balancing of color into the photo, and you have some nice highlights on the back side of the deer and around the the left side of the image back down into some shadow. So it actually helps support the placement of the deer, and it's like standing there looking at its reflection. But it's a really beautiful photo, and it's a really beautiful scene.
Next is Two Birds and a Chipmunk, Ronald Spear.
Oh, what another nice photo of a chipmunk. And I think the composition again is really nice. One thing I like to always point out in this image is a good one for me to point out to you is, whenever we're taking pictures, it's always nice to have a balance in our corners. And even though the lower left corner does not have any foliage in it, it's not distracting. It supports the placement of the bowl or the feeder, and it's just a really nice color on the photo. A little bit of that green sometimes can really throw off the color tone of the image, but the chipmunk could have been probably a little bit warm, maybe a little bit warmer, a little bit more rich in the golden brown of its fur, but overall it's just a really nice photo. It's sharp, it's clear, and your eyes are drawn right to his face and his stripes on the fur of the chipmunk, and I think it's just a really nice photo, and I really like seeing this image. It really brings me back to my own garden and what I get to watch every day as well, so it's nice to see.
Okay, next is Yawn, Rich Stripestein.
This little cutie. Again, there's a little bit of a story here that we can see as we're drawn into the, this cute little dog. There's a placement, which is really nice. Dogs just laying on a jacket and yawning, and I feel like he's begging one of us to pick him up and just cuddle him home. But the composition's nice. The exposure is really nice. I actually really like the unique color tone to the image. And I think that the highlights are not, they're supportive of the image. Nothing is drawing our eye away, and it's just a really cute photo.
Okay. Next up is Up Close and Personal, Claudia Jakubowski.
Oh, I love kitty cats. So the black and white contrast on this is really lovely. And the texture of the fur stands right out. It's sharp. And I love how the whiskers just pop. Again, that's because you have a really beautiful contrast on this photo. And I just think, you did a really nice job overall. The tone, the composition, that the contrast is really beautiful.
Next up is Yellowstone Grizzly with Cub, Nancy Jones.
Oh, what a great shot this is. And I hope this is, when you look at this photo, you just are always remembering seeing a mama bear and her cub. And I love that you can see a little blurriness in that cub trying to just kind of keep up with her mama. And I think that the photo got an excellent composition. The placement of the bears is wonderful. You certainly are showing where, a place for where they belong out in wilderness here. A couple quick little notes. Okay, nothing about me is quick, but a couple notes is I will say the grass is a little bit distracting. That's right in front of the bear. So I don't know your Photoshop skills at removing that, but content fill aware, something could eliminate those couple grasses. There's just a couple of them. It's not mandatory or necessary to do it, of course, but it definitely would enhance the photo. And another pop of contrast in this, I think, would have boosted the saturation and the color tone. I feel like it would have made this image just pop a little bit more. It would have brought some richness in the bear's color tone of the fur. It would have brought it out also in the color of the rocks, and of course in the greenery in the trees, and it would probably keep the foreground a little bit warmed up, just think it would make it just stand out just a smidgen more. But you did great with this composition. You should be really proud of this photo.
Next up is Best Flower in the Meadow, Lena Kesey.
Yeah, what a cute name, a title for your photo. This is just, again, this is a great shot. The composition is wonderful. The deer was sharp. The, you know, the field, and I love the, you know, the depth of field that you have chosen here, because you've got, you know, your go-between object, right? The foreground is blurred in the background, and you just have that one nice little area that should be sharp, drawing your attention right to the deer. So you did a great job with that. You nailed it on that. The one area I'd like to point out is that the there's probably like a flower or branch or cattail or something in the foreground right in front of the deer on the right side of the image. It's competing a little bit for my eye's attention, and pulling my eye away from the deer a little bit. So even though it's not in focus, the color, tone itself, and that would be an easy fix just by, you don't have to remove it, but even just maybe selecting that area and adjusting the color so that would blend in a little bit more with what's surrounding it. It would pull your eye right back to the deer. Nothing's going to pull your eye away from him. But yeah, you did a really good job with this photo.
Next up is Ivy and Friends, Thomas Whitmore.
What a cute photo. And I saw this little girl. I saw her facial expression, and it made me smile. And I could see her looking up at this horse, and you know, and she's, I don't know if it's a little bit of fear or more awe that I'm seeing in her expression, but you know, your composition is really great on the photo, and just seeing her, you know, looking up at this horse, it's just a really sweet photo.
Next up is Horses Are Like Shoes. You need one in every color.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? This is so pretty. You know, it's actually a little bit of an emotional photo, and I love looking at images that really you can relate to. And if you can't, you can see a feeling or an emotion from it. And I kind of got that from this photo. So both of those ways I could, you know, have an emotion attached to the photo. But I think the depth of field on the left side, and where the horse's strap is, it's beautiful. So you have a great depth of field. The eye and the composition in general is really nice, and it's a very sharp photo. It's just a really, it speaks to you. You know, it's a very powerful photo in such a small way, and I love it.
Next is The Grass is Always Greener, Neil Shapiro.
You know, this is such a really beautiful photo. I love the composition. I love that it was vertical and not horizontal, which a lot of times tends to be with fence lines like this. So I love that, you know, you've got a time attached to this photo, as in like a time, as in like a season. And the way the horse is leading out the fence, and when I looked, I'm like, well, look at that, the fence is very flexible. And that was a very nice surprise to see. And I think the composition, again, is just so beautiful. I love how the tree is actually leaning into the direction of the fence, and it just is, it really supports the overall image, and the colors are really beautiful. I think this is a overall very nice image.
Next up is Scott, Thomas Whitmore.
Oh, this is so cute. I really think the color tone of the photo is really nice. You've got a nice warm wood, so we know exactly where you are taking the photo. And I'm a little bit wondering what the horse is thinking, contemplating. I think like that could have been another good title to support something like that. You know, contemplation. But you know, this is a really cute photo. The composition's nice. The highlights on the horse are captured nice. They're not too bright. I also would have been curious to see how this photo would have looked in a horizontal format with a little bit of empty space on the right of some of the wood, just to draw your attention right left to the horse. So he didn't necessarily need to be right in the center in order for the photo to have a little drama to it. But it's a really cute photo, and you know, I really like seeing the horses tonight.
Next up is Khaleesi's close-up, Kim Koza.
Oh, another kitty, a little furry purry. The composition on this photo is really beautiful. I would have liked to seen just a little bit of space on the left side of the eyes. Not necessarily for the sake of just viewing the image, but if this image were to ever be printed and hung up, it's going to be a tight crop there with a mat or something. So just keep that in mind. But the colors are beautiful. I love like I said, I love the composition. The texture is beautiful. It's nice and sharp, and you don't have any distraction coming around the highlights from the cat's eyes. I just want to give him a little hugs and kisses. He's just so cute.
Okay, next up is This Tastes Good, Sharon Silversmith.
Oh, again, the composition on the photo is really nice. Having it as a vertical placement, you can see where the horse is. You cropped it in a nice way. No feet or hooves are cropped off. A little bit tight on the top. Again, if you were to print it, it would crop, you know, a little bit tight to the top of the horse. So just keep that in mind. Although the horse's face clearly is, you know, the subject, but the supporting actors in the image need to be always considered as well. So just a little bit more room on top, I think, just would have balanced it just a smidgen. But the composition's beautiful. Like I said, you know, it's a sharp photo. It appears to be just a very serene, beautiful time that you are taking a picture here. He's feeding. The hay is very it's not too chaotic and around the horse's face. Sometimes that can happen with feeding animals, and it's just really nice. The only other thing I would point out is to the right of the back of the right hoof of the horse's foot, there is a little clump of ground that is could use a little cloning out, just because it is a competing element that is a little bit distracting. If you look at it from my perspective, I see that it's the same size, shape, and color close to the eye of the horse. So I'm like, and for that reason, it's just drawing my attention right to it. So again, now that I pointed out to you, if you agree, you know, you can fix that. It's an quick and easy fix, but that would help just support the image a little bit better. But it's very nice. Again, a little color toning could help with the image, just to, you know, give the cream of the horse maybe the highlights a little bit of a pop. And so a touch of contrast could also maybe benefit this photo a little bit, but you should be really pleased with it. It's very beautiful.
Okay, next up is Nice Horsey, Sharon Silversmith.
Okay, you know, his expression just made the photo, and the horse is reacting. It looks like the horse is reacting to it, like, and to me, I really loved that. So kudos to that. In the composition, you placed your subjects very well. There's a good amount of space around. You cropped, the gentleman at a nice area. It's you want to be always careful of cropping like right at joints. So it looks like it's, not a factor in this photo, which is very good. The highlights in the sky a little bit on the bright side, but the image overall is really fun, and it tells a really sweet, it's really a sweet captured moment.
Next up is Golden Chi, Marguerite Hill.
A little fuzzy wuzzy. Very pretty dog, very beautiful color in his fur. This is what I was talking about a little bit with the corners, trying to balance each other out. I think the lower left corner is a little bit brighter than the others, and it's actually even brighter than highlights on the dog's top of his head and nose and under his eye. So it's going to distract our eye a little bit. So just be a little bit mindful of that. But the eyes are sharp. And he looks like he's waiting for a treat, so we can relate to this image, and we can see that this image does tell a little bit of a story that we can get. Just watch that corner for the future.
Okay, next up is Monday Feel, Elena Kesey.
What I liked about this photo is how the eye is really it's stunning actually how the light has caught this cat's eye, and the color and the texture, the detail that we can see surrounding the eye and the fur right there is really beautiful. So I really like the stripiness of the lighting. I'm assuming it's coming through blinds in order to have that effect. But I thought that was really, really nice. And I love the cat's facial expression. He's telling us something there. The background is not distracting at all. It's you've got some bright areas back there, but it's supporting the image, I think, well enough. And it's not pulling my eye away from anything at all. Nothing is sharp in the background. It's just our attention is drawn right to exactly where you wanted it to go, and you did a good job by doing that.
And next up is Belgian Taverne, Rich Sharpstein.
Very nice composition. Again, you placed your subject very well. A lot of times, however, when a subject, whether it be a person, an animal, or even just nature, when you have a direction that's involved, it's generally a little bit pleasing to add a little empty space in that area, because it helps draw your eye toward your subject even more. So I think in that way, this image could have supported that. It's obviously not necessary, but that would be my, my critique in improving such a photo as this. But aside from that, the image has got a nice exposure. The ears and the placement, the texture of his fur is really sharp. So you did a really nice job in presenting this to us.
Okay, honorable mentions. First up, That Sleeping Dogs Lie, Sean Sullivan.
Oh, okay. A little bit heavy on the HDR for my normal general preference. But I actually also love that because it's brought me out of my comfort zone. So so you got a dual bonus point there, Sean, for this. I just think the composition is great, of course. But what I love about it, I think, is that as detailed as the HDR has brought us, into the fur and the texture. I love that the supporting elements in the image support, just agree with it. The blanket and the floor is just really nice. The corner of the blanket just helps draw you right in, like it's just framing the dogs beautifully. So I really appreciated this, because normally I don't tend to like a lot of heavy, grungy, textury, HDR looking type photos. So I really love this so much. And it's a really sweet photo. And again, the composition of it, I think was wonderful.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Lip Smacking, Robert Neer.
Well, we all love photos that we can look at and they make us laugh. And so much about this image just is whimsical, right down to the mosquito, like flying off them. It was just really fun. I love the roughness of his fur. He's got a lot, a lot of good things that you've captured in the photo. The bottom right corner, a little bit bright, again, we always have to be a little bit careful for that. It doesn't ruin the rest of the image for me though, because it just tells a really cute story. And it's just one of those rare moments that you love seeing. And this just really brought emotion to me in a fun way. And that's why I decided to place it how I did. So congratulations.
Next honorable mention is Green-Eyed Beauty, Claudia Jakubowski.
The reason I chose this as an honorable mention is I really think the composition is beautiful. The depth of field is beautiful. The colors are really beautiful. Overall, the eyes just, and the overall facial expression of this kitty is just one that, tells a little bit almost sadness to me. And, but it's so pretty and, captured so wonderfully. So I wanted to just, express that, that's the reason it spoke to me. But technically, speaking from, this, photography perspective, I just think, the eyes just really draw you. They just draw you completely in. So you did a wonderful job with providing that for us to view.
Okay, our next honorable mention is Snowflake, Kim Koza.
Oh, well, this image was, it's a little bit different, I think, than some of the others that I've placed. And I think, it's probably not quite as sharp, and I think it could have used a little bit more contrast. So there's a few things that would have tweaked this photo a little bit. But the reason I chose it was because I really thought the angle you took the photo at was really nice. And a lot of times, we look at photos of animals and we just capture them as they are, but this one has a really fun expression. And the eyes are so attention grabbing, but I think the angle and how his a little bit slightly exaggerated face, it just really was cute to me. And I really wanted to award you with that just for those reasons. Again, if you give a little bit of contrast pop, maybe even a texture or detail slider a little bit could enhance the photo. But I really appreciated it the way that it was. So thank you for bringing that to us.
Okay, our last honorable mention is Hold Very Still, Sean Sullivan.
a nice photo. You know, again, the composition is great. It's stunning, actually. The color tone, the sharpness, all the details, the squirrel's position. I mean, it really is a superb photo, and we wouldn't expect anything less from you, of course. But it's just so colorful and vibrant, and it's a beautiful image.
Okay, and our winners in 5th place, Granddaddy in a Tree, Janice Pritchett.
Well, despite what I just said about Sean's beautiful squirrel photo, I wanted to point out in this photo that there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of sharpness in the photo with the leaves. You know, if I were taking this photo, I would definitely had probably not done that. I would have done the complete opposite of you, and I probably would have had a much more narrow depth of field and a different angle. But you know, I'm only 4'8", so if I even, you know, were able to get a similar shot, it's a whole nother story. But what I really wanted to commend you for in this photo was the angles. So your composition, I thought, was really nice. Nothing is cropped. He's leading a direction, of course, so I would have probably typically recommended a smidgen more space on that side that they're, you know, headed to. But I really love the placement of the you know, lizard in the tree. I love the tree branch and the curvature and the angle, and the color all around is really pops. It's colorful, it's vibrant, it's pretty. The highlights support the image, given the fact that it was a very sunny day, obviously. And I thought that, you know, the curves of this photo are what really overall spoke to me more than anything. So I commend you for bringing this really nice photo to us, and it's definitely, you know, I see myself, I would have done something very different. So I appreciate seeing, you know, your perspective on this.
In 4th place, Praying Mantis, Chocotronio.
Well, I love praying mantises myself, so this just really, you know, grabbed my attention. And we all know that with macro photography, we get that stunning, super narrow depth of field. And I love that this image was captured and is sharp as it is, without any excess in editing or, you know, compositing, stacking images, however you want to phrase it. But so I really think it's just a really nice composition. It's just a really nice attention grabbing macro, and it's just really cool. So you did a really nice job. Thank you very much.
Hey, in 3rd place, Red-tailed Hawk, Chocotronio.
You know, it's just a beautiful photo, and I love how, like, you've heard me say a few times, of course, that, you know, having some leading space onto the left side. And this is a kind of a good example of that, because you could have easily, you know, zoomed in a little bit more, but you didn't. And the image is framed beautifully. It's supporting the hawk in such a gorgeous way, so that placement is really, really great. And of course it's very super sharp. So the fact that, you know, we have a nice white sky is actually enhancing this photo all the more. So it's overall very exquisite photo.
In 2nd place, I Could Use a Haircut, Barb Lawton.
Well, you know, we don't see longhorns up here all that often, so I'm not sure if this picture was taking up in the north areas somewhere or not. But I really love the placement of this longhorn. I really thought the overall scene was super supportive of this animal. It's just the lines that are here for us to see are really beautiful. You know, I don't really know what else more I can say about it. I think the whole image as a whole, it in all ways supports, you know, this image. It just supports the placement, it supports the animal, it's you know, pleasing to the eye, everything is balanced very well, and for that reason I chose this as a second place.
And our first place winner, Chip and Tree, Linda Tomasillo.
Congratulations, Linda. You know, an exquisite example of, you know, leading rule of thirds, you know, leading into the placement of the image, or the squirrel, excuse me, or chipmunk, what is it, chipmunk. And I think the narrow depth of field, you know, obviously it's exquisite. The colors, beautiful. It has an excellent contrast. It's just overall a very well captured and presented photo. And for that, I award you first place, and I thank you very much.
Congratulations to all our winners, and thank you very much, Angela.
You're very welcome. I congratulate everybody. I really, really enjoyed, you know, seeing everybody's photos, and not just looking at them, but just examining them, and just, you know, looking at them through your perspective. And, you know, we all are, you know, we all have our own methods to our madness. But I love being able to, you know, see how things were done very differently from my own self, and looking at things in different ways, and, you know, really appreciating how we all are unique and different, and yet sometimes very similar, and we all can be inspired by each other. So I thank you all very much for having me here tonight, and I look forward to the next time.
Well, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Or
Thank you, Angela. Great comments on the photos. Appreciate it.
Yeah, please don't send me hate mail.
ever?
No, I really enjoyed the commentary as well.
Thank you.
If anybody sends you hate mail, you tell me. I will go beat them up.
Yeah, thank you. Great comments.
Okay, people, don't forget to get your monochrome and general images in by Sunday morning or midnight Saturday night. Other than that, see you guys, everybody, next week.
Thank you, Angela.
Thanks,
You're
Angela.
welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Night.